Mr. Jack Rausch is a research associate at United Against Nuclear Iran. Is now joining us live from London. Mr. Rausch, welcome to WION The World is One. Talk to us about Trump's delay in making a decision and Iran reaching out to Europe seeking diplomacy. What do you make of this dynamic?
Thank you for having me. Abbas Araghchi, before he became foreign minister under President Pezeshkian in Iran, had a record as an ambassador in Europe for the Islamic Republic. He has relationships with European leaders. He's met with European leaders on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly and other conferences like that. I think that Araghchi's calculus in reaching out to Europe is much the same as his calculus with reaching out to Europe last year. He perceives a difference of perspective between the Europeans and the United States that he can exploit and potentially win over some European recognition of Iran's peaceful nuclear program, perhaps secure some kind of intercession from the Europeans on his behalf with the United States to prevent their involvement. I'm not really sure if that's going to work out for him. It didn't work out very well prior to the negotiations with the United States. Mm-hmm. And it seems at this point as though most European leaders are in some kind of alignment with Washington and with Tel Aviv as well. Now, when it comes to Trump's delay, I think that the administration perceives ambiguity as working in their favor. Mm-hmm. In Trump's position, it may be preferable for him to see how the Israeli strikes go, see if Iran will surrender its nuclear program, which is something that he's called for, and then discern whether or not U.S. involvement is necessary and the degree to which that involvement would unfold.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Rausch, your views on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insisting his military's objective was to strike all of Iran's nuclear facilities, but the Saudi nuclear regulator says attacks on peaceful nuclear facilities is a violation of international law.
Of course. So, in the Israeli perspective, Iran's nuclear program is not a civilian nuclear program. That's based on Iran's enrichment, which they argue goes beyond that which is necessary for a civilian program. So in the Israeli perspective, this program is a nuclear weapons program and needs to be dealt with as such. And it seems as though the Trump administration is in agreement with that position based on Trump's position, which is also now that there should be no enrichment in Iran, that their nuclear program should be completely abandoned. And so even if, the Saudi Arabia is making this argument, Abbas Araghchi is making this argument, I don't think it really impacts the Israeli calculus. The real question is whether or not Israel will be able to sufficiently degrade Iran's nuclear program to the extent that they see desirable. Just out today, there was reporting from Bloomberg that much of the nuclear program remains still intact. Obviously, sites like Fordo are highly protected, deep underground. So that's part of why, for the Israelis, U.S. involvement would be preferable.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Rausch, nuclear experts are arguing that Israel's offensive will push Iran closer to the bomb and may encourage other countries to develop their nuclear bombs. What do you think will happen next if that is not taken care of?
Well, I think, there are two things to consider. First is the Iranian calculus. I've heard it argued as well that this will only push Iran closer to a bomb. I think that's also the perspective potentially of the Trump administration and of Israel. And that's why we're seeing Israel and the United States argue that, Israel needs to finish the job. The nuclear program either needs to be completely destroyed or completely surrendered by the Islamic Republic. I think when it comes to other nuclear threshold states, the argument could be made the other way, that if Iran is able to produce a nuclear weapon sort of without reproach, without consequence, that might make, more of a case for those countries to pursue that avenue. Whereas if Iran is prevented from doing so, those countries might take a second look at doing that.
All right, Mr. Rausch, stay with me because we have some breaking news coming in at this hour, and we do understand that the Trump administration has issued fresh Iran-related sanctions, including on 2 entities based in Hong Kong, and counter-terrorism-related sanctions. Mr. Araghchi, I have to let you go. Thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for talking to WION World is One today.